at a cost of 30 cents. Now, at coming up to 7:49 on Newstalk Breakfast, I suppose we're going to turn to a not exactly unrelated issue. The Minister for Education, Richard Bruton, today holding a forum on the role of religion in primary school admissions. Two of the 150 people represented at the forum join us now. Michael Nugent, Chairperson of Atheist Ireland, and Seamus Mulconry, General Secretary of the Catholic Primary Schools Management Association. Michael, I'll start with you first. What submission did Atheist Ireland put forward to this forum?
Well, we pointed out that the Minister is essentially taking the smallest part of the religious discrimination and privilege in the schools, which is in access, and he's just fine-tuning that discrimination. He's ignoring the vast majority of discrimination and privilege, which is by integrating religion throughout the entire curriculum once you get into schools, and that the Catholic schools are opposed in principle to teaching religion in a pluralistic way. He's saying that it's because he wants to protect minority schools, but all he's doing in practice is giving Church of Ireland schools the opportunity to discriminate against evangelicals, giving Sunni Islamic schools the opportunity to discriminate against Ahmadi Muslims, and essentially giving some of the larger minorities a slice of the discriminating pie.
Seamus Mulconry, do you agree with that? Fine-tuning discrimination is how Michael Nugent puts it?
I think what Michael has demonstrated is that there has been a huge amount of ideology in this debate and a dearth of data. Up to now, we haven't really had any solid figures for what's going on. So CPSMA will be presenting some of those figures today. Last year, in the 384 Catholic primary schools, there were 7,750 unsuccessful admissions. And of those, 97 had to do with the lack of a baptismal cert. So in point of fact, this is a problem not about religion, but about resources. There are at least 17 schools in the city that are oversubscribed. And legislation won't solve that problem. We need more school places. I have never come across the case of any child being denied access to a Catholic school solely on the basis of a lack of a baptismal cert. Where we have space, we will take everybody, and we would like more space to be able to take more people.
Okay, Michael Nugent, resources, not religion, is the problem.
As I said,
you're barking up the wrong tree.
I do agree with Seamus that this is by far the smallest part of the discrimination, and the discrimination mostly happens once you get into the schools, because religion is integrated throughout the whole curriculum, and the Catholic Church says that they are opposed to teaching religion in a pluralistic way. Although, having said that, when you say there's only 97, you could leave the word only off that. That's 97 children who are loved by their parents in the same way as Catholic children are loved by their parents, and who have been denied access to schools based on your figures. 97 children in up to 97 families who have been denied access to education in our state-funded system because of your church's ideology.
Hold on there, Seamus. Yeah, Seamus, you can come in there. Yeah.
I didn't say 97 children.
You did say
I said, excuse me, Michael.
Okay, go ahead.
Give me a second. I said there were 97 unsuccessful applications, and that there were 7,400 unsuccessful applications for people who were baptised. One of the key issues here
Seamus, sorry, I'm a little confused. Yeah. So why were the 97 refused? Or why were they unsuccessful, sorry?
They were unsuccessful because they didn't have a baptismal cert, but they're not, sorry, listen to me for 1 second. These are applications. They are probably far less.
So what is the figure then?
No, hang on. Let him make the point. Sorry, Seamus, and you can come in then, Michael.
We have no figures for individuals because parents are making more applications than there are schools. They're applying to 2 or 3 different schools, and that's one of the key problems. We don't know the full level of demand for schools in the Greater Dublin area.
Okay.
And until we find that out, and there are ways of doing it, until we find that out, we're having a debate in a vacuum.
Okay, fair enough, Michael.
Well, we're not having a debate in a vacuum. We're having a debate with 10 different United Nations and Council of Europe human rights bodies telling Ireland that the way that we run our schools, both in terms of access and in terms of failing to give an objective, critical and pluralistic education that isn't involving religious indoctrination, is a breach of human rights. And when you're breaching human rights...
Is that not slightly stretching things? A breach of human rights?
Of course it's not. One of the most fundamental human rights is the right to freedom of religion, conscience and belief. If we had even even one school that was actively teaching children that there was no God, and if you'd even one set of Catholic parents forced to go to send their children to those schools, we'd never hear the end of it. People would immediately realise it's a breach of human rights.
Michael,
it's exactly the same for religious minorities and non-religious parents. We have freedom of religion, belief and conscience as well.
OK, Seamus Mulconroy?
I would point out that approximately 78% of the population are Catholic, and that a large percentage of those want a Catholic education for their children. 90% of the people in Ireland come from some faith tradition, and they have rights too. Parents have a right to schools that will pass on their religion and their views. That is not discrimination. I would like to see a situation where there was a far greater choice so that people who do not believe in our faith had more opportunities to go to different schools. We don't object to that. But we equally don't see why our children should be deprived of a Catholic education because a minority wants something different.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Let the minority get what they want and allow us to have our schools.
Okay,
that's all we're asking.
Let Michael come in.
Well, that sounds very much like 1970s Ian Paisley, a Protestant parliament for a Protestant people, and now you want Catholic schools for a Catholic people. But it's not a Catholic country anymore, and you can't get away with that. The people have moved on, and the government and the laws will have to catch up with that.
Okay, I have to let Seamus come back in because you've accused him of being the Ian Paisley of the modern day.
This is the kind of overheated rhetoric and ideology that gets us nowhere. Believe it or not, there are 5 bills before the Oireachtas on this issue. None of those bills will add a single school place. There's always going to be somebody disappointed. Let's look at the real issues. Let's look at the numbers and try and get a solution rather than indulge in this, frankly, overheated rhetoric and an ideology, by the way, which is incredibly intolerant. What Michael is basically saying is, to the large numbers of people, the 90% of the population who come from a faith background, no, we want it our way. You don't have any rights.
Okay, Michael, listen very briefly.
Michael is the one who...
Okay, I'm saying precisely the opposite. What I'm saying
you're the one being totalitarian.
I'm saying precisely the opposite. I'm saying that based on human rights, that schools should treat everybody equally, regardless of the religious or non-religious beliefs of their parents. You are the one that is saying that Catholics should get preference and priority and privilege from the state-funded schools, and that's not acceptable. Okay,
listen, we have to leave it there. My thanks to Michael Nugent and to Seamus Mulconroy. Let us know your views. 53106. Do you agree with Michael? Do you agree with Seamus? Back in a moment on Newstalk Breakfast.